Hello, guys, and welcome to my predictions of the overall tournament today, of the final standings and the week one fixtures. Going to be doing both in this video because it is Thursday night. I'm going to be doing this every Thursday when there is a round of fixtures from the Six Nations. As you'll notice, this is the point system for the overall stands. I'm going to be doing this every year. As you can see, it's 1 point for predicting each winner from each game. So I get 1 point in total for each winner. I get 2 points for all of the weekly winners. So that's 2 points, and 2 each points for if I get them with the bonus point. You'll see that in a moment how that all works. And at the end of the tournament, I'll get an extra 3 points if I get the team in the exact same position of the overall tournament finish. That's how it's going to work. I'm going to keep it on the screen now. Basically, every year, we're pretty much going to see how many points I can get right, how many predictions I can get right. And first, we're going to predict the final predictions of where teams are going to finish. I've done the best result, how many wins, how many draws, how many losses, and where they're going to overall finish in the table. And then we'll look at the fixtures at the end, and that's how this is going to work. Let's start off with 6th position, and you'll be surprised who I've put in 6th, because this team has never finished 6th in the Six Nations ever. So who could it be? There's a few on the list there that have never finished 6th. So in 6th place, I've predicted Scotland, and they are going to be the biggest disappointment, obviously. 1 win, no draws, and 4 losses. They've also put their best result, and their only win is going to be against England in my prediction. This won't be my prediction of that week. It probably will change when we get to face Scotland in round 3. But yes, I do think Scotland are going to struggle this year, either 5th or 6th from my perspective. There is a shock team that will do really well. And for me, I think Scotland have been a bit overrated the last few years. I generally think they should have finished top 2 last tournament. They kind of slipped up towards the end. And for some reason, for me, I think the Welsh and the Italians will get better this year over the time. But I just can't see Scotland doing any better. Obviously, that would be a great result if they do finish. Not a great result, but that would be a great result if they beat England in the tournament. And for me, it all very much comes down to if they're willing to get a good start. But yes, that would be the worst ever finish at the Six Nations. They've always been inside that top 5 throughout the Six Nations history. And like Wales, as we saw, I generally think Wales and Italy will surprise and will do better than Scotland at this Six Nations. That is the biggest disappointment and probably the biggest shock of this prediction. But there is another one that you'll be surprised by, and you might have to hear me out. Let's move on to who's finishing in 5th. And finishing 5th, probably a great tournament again, and it's back-to-back for Italy. 1 win, 0 draws, and 4 losses. Best result will come against Wales, from my opinion. I think they will get that back-to-back victory against Wales. I do feel like the last 3 to 2 years, Italy have been better than Wales. Bit unlucky 2 years ago, but really disappointing last time Wales on home soil as well. It will be in Rome, and I actually think they're going to be very difficult to beat at home. We've seen a massive big following for Italian rugby in the last few years, and the last, I think, 3 rounds, Italy did very well in the tournament. So I suppose if they do beat Wales, it's really exciting. I've actually put Wales ahead of Italy and Scotland. I think Scotland's the big one, and I think I may get this wrong, but I had to go a bit bold in these predictions. And yeah, I generally think if Italy can get off to the perfect start in these Six Nations, I generally think they'll go above and beyond, and they will certainly improve from last year. Certainly should be looking for potentially 6 points again, but it's not going to be easy. Moving on, we've got Wales, who are going to finish in fourth. This is probably the biggest shock of the tournament. I say they win 3 of the games, draw no games, and lose 2. Their best result will come against Scotland, and I think that will be a defining result that will finally put them in fourth. I actually think, for once, Wales are going to pick up the momentum and start getting back to winning ways. It's been too long for Wales not to win games, but for me, I'm very confident that Wales will just boost their confidence, and pretty sure most of their games are at home as well. That's the logic behind their 3 wins. And I just generally think the Welsh squad has shown a little bit more improvement towards the end of the autumn fixtures. Yes, they didn't win a fixture, but they're in the same boat as England, and I think if they can get some good results, especially I think against Scotland and Italy, that I think is where they'll get their 2 victories. I certainly think this Welsh team is kind of underrated, and many people are overlooking them, and I think they could get a shocking result on the opening weekend. You'll see my prediction in a little while on where I think Wales will finish this weekend against France, as they face them on the opening game on Friday night with the lights. So, yeah, real shock that I put Wales in fourth, but I just can't see Wales again finishing in the bottom 2. I actually think, finally, they're going to get a good result, and any Welsh fan will know this is a good result for Wales, and this is progression from the last 2 years. And I think Wales in 2026 might be even a contender if they can get to the top 4. But that's very bold from me, and we'll move on now quickly to the top 3. Put your predictions down below who you think is going to be in the top 3. Who's going to finish third, who's going to finish second, who's going to finish first. It's between England, France, and England. England, France, and Ireland. Apologies there. Okay, here we go. Third position, I have put France, and exactly like Wales, I think they get 3 wins, no draws, and 2 wins. The best result will be against Italy. That's pretty much guaranteed for a lot of teams. Italy and France is always a mismatch. Somehow France always get their best result from there, and it's been a constant theme. And for me, I think France have lost a lot of crucial elements to their attack. I actually think France won't do very well again this year. I think they were really bad last year towards the end of the Six Nations, and some of their autumn friendlies, it was just a bit all over the place. Obviously, they beat New Zealand. That's kind of a team that they always beat now. But I mean, they've not been perfect in the last few months, and that's the same with Ireland. Ireland had a really bad autumn season, but yeah, I just can't see France doing anything special. I think they've got a great squad, and I think they're certainly a top 3 favourite, and I don't think the top 3 is going to change massively in the next few years leading into the World Cup in 2027 in Australia. But I think for France, this might just be the end of this sort of golden generation at the end of 2027. And I think they've missed a great chance of being one of the best teams in the Northern Hemisphere now. And I think we're definitely going to see progression for England and Ireland in this tournament. I think they just slightly have the edge. They're slightly going in that direction that puts them so far below England and Ireland, and they've not kind of catched up. They've kind of kept the squad the same in the last 2 Six Nations, and that's all good. But Ireland and England have brought so much new talent, and that's just like their academy system and their youth system and their grassroots have just outlays this English and Irish, outlay. Let's see who finishes behind England or Ireland. Predict now who you think is going to win. I think you all know who I'm going to predict. Sadly, I'm not confident enough for England to win this tournament, and I generally think Steve Borwick will be leaving England after this tournament. But there you go. England will win 4 of the games, draw none, and lose one. Their best result also will be against Italy, that I think will be at home or away. I can't remember if we're home or away. Not looking at the fixtures far ahead, but England are getting there, and I think if England gets second over France, I think that'll be a very big achievement. England, I generally think, have been slightly better than France in the last 2 Six Nations, if you look at it. And ever since France have won the Six Nations, I generally think you've got to look at England now, maybe as a possibly slightly edged favourite. When it comes to them and France for second. I do think this will be the last time we see Steve Borwick, and I do think England won't have enough to beat Ireland. Will Ireland get the Grand Slam? That's a real question I'll answer in a minute. But why I think England's going to do better than France, I just think the French don't have the young qualities, and I do think them not changing their squad like England and Ireland have massively going into the Six Nations and in the autumn friendlies. I generally think England will certainly have new qualities and new players that can certainly expand. And always England with these newer squads sometimes really click straight away, and it might actually click. I don't know if England are going to have a chance. I do think they'll win one of these first 2 games back to back in England or Ireland, Ireland or France. That hopefully is the ideal start. I don't know what I was saying there, but I just can't see England dropping points in both games. Let's move on to Ireland here, and I have put Ireland first, but I do say no Grand Slam once again, and Ireland will join the many teams like the Wales teams in the early 2000s and England on 3 Six Nations in a row. It's got to be Ireland. And as I was saying about England, I generally think Ireland and England have improved their squads massively in the last 3 tournaments, especially Ireland, who've lost Johnny Sexton. I think that's a big talking point about the kicker for both England and Ireland, but I think that's good talking points. 4 wins, 1 loss, and again, the best result will come against Italy. That's kind of a constant theme. I think that's not going to change. Why no Grand Slam again? I just can't see the competition dropping off of Ireland. I think everyone wants to chase them down, and we've got to look at it. I do think the competition is even harder now for Ireland. They really did drop the ball a little bit in the New Zealand game that I watched a couple of months ago back in November, and I just don't think Ireland are the most or strongest team in the Northern Hemisphere. It's very close between them, France and England now. England are obviously in the conversation. I don't know why, but for me, I just can't see England backing off of them. And in this opening weekend, it certainly is not going to be easy. I think I could have probably put that as their best result. I do think their best result will maybe come from England, but I'm slightly going to give it to Italy. They tend to do very well there. On the opening weekend, I can't see them dropping points at all until probably either Scotland or France. That will be the 2 games. So let's move on now to my weekly predictions. We'll see how this does at the end of the tournament, because this will decide if I get 3 points at the end, and in total I could get 18 points that could add on to this championship. So this overall position of predictions of the overall finish of the tournament will be very crucial at the end and will add massive points. Finally, week 1 results. Here they are. You'll notice there's certain things that I need to explain. So I've done whether they're going to get the bonus point, whether they're going to win, and how many tries they're going to do it in. So, surprisingly, I think France will get the bonus point with 5 tries, but I think Wales will win with 3 tries and no bonus point on the opening weekend. That's probably the biggest shock, and I think this is the decider between if Wales are going to be contender for the top 4 or not. This might actually stop my prediction, but we'll see how this does. I generally think, if you look at it, France should win this game, but for some reason, I think because it's the opening game, it's on a Friday night, it's underneath the lights, I just think they get caught out here, France, and I think they have an absolute stinker in Paris. So that will be an interesting game. Scotland versus Italy. I think Scotland will have the strongest performance of the weekend. I think they'll also get the bonus point, and they'll win with 6 tries. And Italy will only get 3. It's not bad, but they should be trying to aim for some bonus points. It's where they kind of got a lot of their points last year. I think they got 7 or 6 points last year. That was amazing achievement, that they got 2 bonus point losses and a win. That was really impressive. And then finally, I have predicted that England and Ireland will get the bonus point, but where Ireland will just win. I think it will come down to kicks. For some reason, I feel like England will give away a lot of penalties this weekend in Dublin. And yeah, back to the Scotland game. I didn't really explain why I think they're going to get the most tries this week. I just have a feeling about Scotland this year that they start well for the first 2 weeks and then they're just going to drop off. They're either going to lose one of these first 2 games, and I just think this will be their only win of the tournament, or they'll get 2 wins and that will be it. Scotland tend to underperform after the breaks. That's really weird. I hope that Scotland do well, and I hope they prove me wrong that they're finishing above 6. They should finish above 6, but I haven't seen anything from Scotland. I've seen improvement from Wales, I've seen improvement from Italy, nothing from Scotland, and soon Italy and Wales will start catching on them, because those two, especially Wales, will want to try and get back into that top 4 battle, and then maybe it could be certainly on. That's my predictions. They're there for you. I think that the biggest shock would be Wales this weekend, winning without the bonus point and getting 3 tries. They'll have to win by penalties. That would mean France would have to fumble, but I think I'm going to get that prediction one. I do think the other 2 predictions are going to be right. I think it's going to be an excellent game between Ireland and England on Saturday, same as Scotland and Italy. So there you are. There are the results. What do you think about these predictions? Do you think I'm going to get them right? We'll relook at this at the end of next week. We'll relook at this at the beginning of next week before we go into the next predictions, and I'll probably do like a tick to see if I got it right or got it wrong. And a reminder, if I get the bonus points right, I get 2 points for each one, and all of them. So each one I get a bonus point. If I get the bonus point right, or if each team wins, I get 1 point in total. So yeah, it's going to be very crucial to get these predictions right. And as the weeks go on, the predictions are going to be much more realistic, and I'll know who's going to win this. And also, potentially in the final week, we'll do an extra thing of if they're going to win the Grand Slam. That's only if a team is aiming for the Grand Slam, or who I think is going to edge as an extra round. So yeah, the point system, if you want to know how it works, or if you skip to the end of this video to know my week 1 predictions, you might want to go back and see how the point system works. It's literally, if I get the winner right, pretty much I get 1 point, and if I get the bonus points right, pretty much if I predict that they get the bonus point or just their normal points, that is pretty much how this will work. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I certainly have. It's been a bit different to what I normally do. and hopefully it can bring the second round very soon. I know we've got 32 rounds back to back. The next prediction video will come out on Thursday, hopefully during the day, a bit earlier, so I can get it out before Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to be doing these every Thursday while the Six Nations is going on, and I might do some more in the future for National 1 and National 2 rugby, because I'm very into that, as that's the leagues that my team's playing at, so I might do that very much in the future. For now, though, that's my predictions. I'm going to leave it on the screen for another 30 odd seconds, and you can see it there, so you know what my predictions are. If I get any of these right, like the Pacific, like amount of tries and predictions, I get 2 points and the bonus point. And if I get the right result right, like if I just predict the winner, I'll get 1 point. That's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll leave you with the final predictions of my official predictions of the competition for the first week of the competition. Comment down below who you think is going to win the whole thing and if they're going to get the Grand Slam. That's it. Enjoy the last few seconds and keep an eye out for the scores. I'll see you next Thursday for my review on round 1 and my predictions on week 2.